of members with Representative McClintock, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank you for arranging this hearing in response to the public outcry that's been raised against the proposals by the National Park Service that would radically alter the purpose, nature, and use of Yosemite National Park. The NPS proposal would remove long-standing tourist facilities from Yosemite Valley, including bicycle and raft rentals, snack facilities, gift shops, horseback riding, the ice skating rink at Curry Village, the art center, the grocery store, swimming pools, and even the valley's iconic and historic stone bridges. These facilities date back generations, and they provide visitors with a wide range of amenities to enhance their stay at and their enjoyment of this world-renowned national park. Now, the Park Service says this is necessary to comply with a settlement agreement reached with the most radical and nihilistic fringe of the environmental left. It seeks to use the wild and scenic river designation of the Merced River as an excuse to expel commercial enterprises and dramatically reduce the recreational amenities available to park visitors. Yet, as we'll hear from renowned Yosemite historian Peter Haas, that agreement imposes no requirement on the government to do anything more than adopt a plan consistent with current law, and current law is explicit. The 1864 Act establishing the park guarantees its use for public recreation and resort. The 1916 Organic Act creating the national parks explicitly declares that their purpose to be for the public enjoyment of the public lands, and the Wild and Scenic River Act contemplated no changes to the amenities at Yosemite. So says its author, Democratic Congressman Tony Coelho. Yet the Park Service insists that the law compels these radical changes. It does no such thing. And in a let-them-eat-cake moment, the Park Service assures us that although bicycle, raft, and horse rentals will be banned, people are free to bring their own. Well, what a relief that's going to be to a paralyzed teenager whose only access to the park's from horseback. All you have to do is buy your own horse and bring it to the park. Thanks a lot. And since environmental protection is the stated justification, I must ask, what is the environmental difference between a rented bicycle and a privately owned bicycle? What is the environmental difference between a rented raft and a privately owned raft, except perhaps the rented raft is operated under close supervision of experts? Why would the Park Service demand the removal of the swimming pools at the Ahwahnee and Yosemite lodges that have no impact on the Merced River, except to give parents a safer place for their children to go swimming than the river's treacherous waters? 95% of the park is already in wilderness. Yet the overwhelming majority of park visitors come to that 5% where amenities are available for public recreation, where they can rent a bike, where they can stop at the snack shop to get ice cream cones for the kids, where they can pick up souvenirs at the gift shop, where the family can cool off at a lodge swimming pool. And it is precisely these pursuits that the National Park Service would destroy. We're assured that in some cases they'll merely move them to other locations in the park away from the valley floor. Well, understand what that means. They will move the tourist facilities away from the tourists. Wawona, for example, has often been mentioned as an alternative site. Wawona is more than 20 miles from Yosemite Valley. We're assured that the plan will increase campsites and parking. Yet, as we'll hear from the Yosemite Valley Campers Coalition, the plan actually represents a radical reduction in parking and campsites measured from pre-flood levels. Congress appropriated millions of dollars to restore these facilities. The money was spent, but the facilities were never replaced. And the NPS would now lock in not only dramatically lowered numbers, but would diminish the desirability of the campsites which remain. Much has been said of the competition for campsites. Perhaps that's the reason for the shortage is because the number of campsites has been reduced by nearly half on the valley floor from pre-flood levels and overnight lodging by a third. Yosemite National Park was set aside in 1864 by legislation signed by Abraham Lincoln for the express purpose of, quote, public use, resort, and recreation. For more than a century, this measure was honored by the park stewards, but no more. This plan would radically alter the visitor-friendly mission of the park with the new elitist maxim, look but don't touch, visit but don't enjoy. The public is crying out for congressional intervention, Mr. Chairman, and I thank you for taking the first step towards saving Yosemite National Park for the public use, resort, and recreation that was promised to the American people nearly 150 years ago.
Thank you for your testimony. Those